They call him the Southern Moonlight Demon. Clevitus is one of the top 4 demon lord. He freaking hates humans and sees them as nothing but bugs. But as fate would have it, during his crusade to wipe out the human race, a mere baby ends up softening his heart, and he takes the kid in as his own. Now he's forced to hide his real powers and blend in with humans, acting like some nobody. Right at the start of the story, a young girl accompanies her dad out to their farm. Once they're done, he tells her it's time to head back home. On their way, she takes a curious look around the house and notices a map of Edzi. Beyond the map, she sees there's nothing but darkness, just their continent completely surrounded by pitch black zones. It makes her wonder what lies beyond that darkness. With curiosity burning, she turns to her father, asking what's out there beyond their city, something even he can't explain. Her father sees her curiosity, wishing he could offer an answer, but honestly, he doesn't know either. He explains that every human is born with this same drive, always wanting to know more. But every single time they've tried venturing into those dark areas, it's ended badly. He breaks it down for her, saying 4 mighty demons each control one of the 4 directions around Edzi: north, south, east, and west, and every expedition that's tried getting past them has been completely wiped out. The girl is stunned by this, trying to grasp how truly dangerous those zones must be, but it doesn't scare her away. Her father continues, saying that until those demons are defeated, they'll never find out what lies beyond the map. Still, he believes every challenge has its solution, mentioning the ancient treasures wielded by legendary heroes. Only heroes armed with special swords could ever face the demons. Without one of those heroes, there's simply no way they'll win this fight. This only ignites her determination even more. She dreams of becoming one of those heroes. She wants to fight. If she can just get hold of the sword of Heiden, she's certain she can challenge the demons. Once those demons fall, they'll finally discover the secrets hidden in the darkness beyond the map. A few years go by, and our girl Alicia ain't a kid anymore. She's grown up, becoming one of the heroes chosen to fight. She closes her eyes and opens them again inside the truck that's taking them toward the city's outskirts. Holding the chain around her neck, she quietly tells her father that the moment is finally here, the moment she's got to step up and protect their city. She's not making this journey alone. Several other heroes are right there with her. As the trip goes on, they start chatting and introducing themselves. There are some real standout folks among them. Minarch, the one holding the sacred treasure called the Golden Ideal, straight up says he's got no clue where he originally came from. They all glance at Alicia, asking her to introduce herself next. They're shocked to see a woman among them, but Alicia doesn't even bother saying anything. As they get closer to their destination, Stefan, the guy carrying the sacred treasure Tenma, the winged horse, warns everyone they're almost there. They whisper among themselves, noting how Stefan's supposed to be the strongest one here. Suddenly, the truck stops, and the driver tells them the carriage can't go any farther. They barely start getting off when demons suddenly attack, taking down a few heroes before they can even hit the ground. Stefan shouts at them to jump out and fight, organizing them quickly into groups. The archers and lancers immediately move into action, while Stefan tells the rest he'll pair up with Alicia to handle any demons still standing. Thing is, Alicia's got her own treasure, Iwatubane, the legendary stone swallow. She joins Stefan, charging straight into battle beside him. Alicia's strong and charismatic, but the most impressive thing about her is how aware she is of everything around her. On the mountain just ahead stands one of the demon lords, who starts speaking about the nature of chaos. He admits the world itself was born from chaos, and if that's true, then he himself must be born from it too. He might have a point, but as the battle rages on, the heroes jump over hills and mountains, fighting their way through till they finally reach the summit. Stefan's particularly fired up. Being known as the smartest among them, he thinks it's fair he should ask the demon lord his name. He declares to everyone that today's the day they'll prove their strength, showing the people who chose them that they picked the right heroes for this fight. As soon as they reach Mount Moon, the demon lord makes his entrance, and just looking at him sends a chill through the group. His presence alone is terrifying. This is Clevitus, the Southern Moonlight Demon, and even without saying a word, he makes the whole mountain feel heavier. Stefan gets shoved back, and though fear floods his face, he admits what's in front of them is terrifying. But they were sent for this, and they can't back down now. They're not alone, they're heroes, and together they believe they can turn legend into reality. Stefan tries to move, but Clevitus hits him from far away, slams him against the wall, and kills him in one blow. The others freeze in shock, not just because he died, but because Clevitus never even moved. One of them steps up to lead and pushes the others to fight, while Alicia holds back for a second, reading the terrain. As the rest close in, Clevitus kills them without leaving his place. That's when Alicia figures it out and yells that he's using his shadows, and if they want to live, they need to stay away from them. They don't know how to do that, but Alicia starts jumping and running through the mountain. The shadow moves toward her, and she becomes the first to notice the attack before it hits and actually responds. Clevitus's eyes shine with surprise. Maybe this won't be as easy as the last group. He doesn't care, but it grabs his attention. This is humanity, and though he hasn't faced them in 1,000 years, what he sees now isn't what he remembers. They used to be weak, no stronger than bugs, but now they've got strength, they've got purpose, and they're not giving up. He's got no clue what's pushing them like this, but he wants to find out. The heroes all go after him, and one by one, he takes them out. Alicia's the last to fall. She's thrown into the sky, eyes closing as death reaches her, and in her final breath, she says sorry to her father, telling him she couldn't make her dream real. Over in capital Heidelart, the heart of the Heiden kingdom, people are going about their day like nothing's wrong, completely unaware that something is coming straight for them. That something is Clevitus, bursts out from the mountain facing the city, and the moment he shows up, panic spreads like wildfire. The people run, terrified, but Clevitus isn't attacking them out of rage. He's just curious, doesn't give a crap about their lives, just wants to figure out what they're planning. He remembers that the ones who came after him before called themselves heroes, saying they were sent by the king of Heiden. So now, his goal is simple: cut through anything standing in his way until he reaches that king. Villagers scatter in fear, running for their lives, while the knights kick into gear, scrambling to defend the capital. Archers line up and launch their attacks, arrows raining down on him, but Clevitus doesn't even flinch. Instead of fighting back, he flies above the rooftops, gliding through the city so he can get to the palace and see for himself what kind of force is driving these people. The knights rush to reinforce the palace gates, firing more arrows, but nothing touches him. He watches their efforts with zero concern, and it becomes clear they're weaker than he expected. He lifts one hand, throws it at the wall, and the entire thing crashes down like it was nothing but paper. That's when the knights realize they're screwed. One of them takes off, rushing to warn the king that a demon is in the city. The king doesn't even look surprised. If a demon made it this far, then there's only one conclusion: those so-called heroes failed. He gets up from his seat and starts walking. There's only one thing left to protect now: the blade of Heiden. Another knight runs in, shouting that the demon is tearing through the city and can't be stopped, and the king should hide. But if that thing really can't be stopped, then running is pointless, because no matter where he goes, it'll catch up to him eventually. The knights keep throwing flames and arrows at Clevitus, trying everything they can, but he knows nothing they do will change a damn thing. Still, there's strength in it. He remembers how Alicia's sword had managed to hit him and leave a mark. That memory sticks, reminding him that if humans are left alone, they'll eventually get stronger. He's not the one stepping into their world, they're the ones coming for his. And to him, that's all the reason he needs to bring the fight to them. The king moves closer to the door, ready to protect the blade, but as soon as he opens it, Clevitus appears. From the way the man looks, the crown, the clothes, the palace behind him, Clevitus doesn't need to ask, knows he's the king. Clevitus speaks in human language, and the king freezes. A demon speaking like a man that alone shakes him. He asks how a creature like Clevitus could even understand their words. But Clevitus already knows who he's talking to. He tells the king he's the only one who might be able to save humanity. He's not here for war, not yet. He's got questions, and depending on the answers, humanity either lives or dies. When he says humanity, he's not talking about just Heiden. He means Org, Dawn, Suladen, Bent, the whole damn world. His question is simple. He wants to know what kind of people they are, what twisted reasons made them march into the demon kingdom and attack his land. The king stares back without fear and says he's not answering a demon's questions. Clevitus doesn't ask twice. He cuts the king's head off right there and walks out without looking back. To him, that was enough proof. Humans are dangerous, and that makes them a threat. So now, they must be destroyed. But he knows he can't do that alone. He needs allies, a group that can follow him and help him finish the job. As he leaves the palace, a sharp cry echoes through the air. A baby, held in the arms of a dying mother, screams in pain and fear. Clevitus hears it but barely reacts. It's just another human. But the mother speaks, begs him to save the child, her voice low and broken. Clevitus stares, surprised she's even speaking to him. She's begging the one who plans to end everything. He tells her if the kid dies, she should blame the fact he was born human. But the woman answers through her pain, saying the baby never got to choose how he was born. Clevitus couldn't give a shit, but he looks her in the eye and says if she wants him to spare that kid, then she better give him a reason why. She struggles to speak, reminds him she's dying and can't prove anything right now, but says one thing with full certainty: the child will prove his worth when he grows up. And with that, she takes her final breath. Clevitus stands there, silent, then picks up the baby. He's not buying it, but watching a human grow doesn't take much effort. So if this kid's gonna prove something, he'll wait and see. Across this wide land, 5 main human races live in different parts of the world. First, the Kingdom of Dawn holds the biggest population. Then come the Orgites, brave and fierce with horns on their heads. Next are the Sladens, quiet types who avoid dealing with anyone outside their kind. Then the Benti, demonic in appearance, but loaded with raw power. Last, the Heidenians, the smallest race, looking the most like normal humans. They're also the smartest, known for crafting weapons from a rare crystal called arcanosite. But only the royal bloodline knows the true method behind it. They've been selling those weapons to the Dawn race, and that deal led the 2 races to take on missions together, forming mixed bloodlines. Even so, full-blooded Heidenians are now rare. Outside their kingdom, wild dark beasts roam, violent and uncontrollable. Deep in the Luna Mountains, Clevitus, in his massive form with 9 long tails, scares off a few beasts that try to eat the baby. The kid cries out, loud and scared, and Clevitus worries this little creature might not last long if it keeps screaming like that. He wraps around the baby, thinking how to shut him up for a while, then gently taps the child's forehead with one claw, and the baby falls asleep. While staring at the baby, Clevitus starts to get the feeling it's about to drop a little surprise, and sure enough, not long after, the kid wakes up crying while unloading a nasty mess that hits his nose hard. It pisses him off, but instead of getting rid of the child, he picks it up and walks off, hoping to find a way to deal with this disgusting problem. He ends up throwing the baby into a pit full of bugs, not the dangerous kind, just the ones that love feeding on poop. As the bugs enjoy their meal, Clevitus mutters something ridiculous about humans growing up in a few nights, clearly showing he knows nothing about raising one. He glances down at the child and realizes he doesn't even know who it is, doesn't know its name, or why he even bothered turning back to pick it up in the first place. He blames his soft heart for that, but it's too late for regrets. He's not going to return it, not with the pride he holds as the Lord of Dark Beasts, and since he already made the decision to raise the kid, he'll see it through. Problem is, he has no idea how humans live or what they eat, and there's no way he can raise the baby alone. Looking over the fresh corpses nearby, he picks out one Alicia. She had led a failed assault against him, driven by the pain of losing her father to dark beasts, thinking she could win by charging into his territory with an army, but it all ended in disaster. Now, she's the one he chooses to bring back. With a wave of dark power, he revives her. The moment she wakes up, she tries to attack, but quickly notices her sword is gone and her comrades are nowhere in sight. Clevitus tells her with full pride that she's alive only because he revived her, which means she's nothing more than a walking dead under his control. She freezes, staring at him in silence, stunned not just by the fact that she's the only one left, but by how fluently this demon speaks the human language. Meanwhile, Clevitus orders her to reveal her fun bags, and the moment she hears that, Alicia instantly thinks he's trying to make some twisted move on her. She freezes up in fear, completely shocked that the Lord of Dark Beasts would dare make such advances. But before her dirty thoughts can spiral any further, he cuts her off and makes it clear the order isn't about her. It's about the hungry baby that won't stop crying. He tells her to take off her armor and bring out her milk tanks immediately. Since he'd infused his dark energy into her body, her will isn't exactly her own. She had no choice but to reveal the chesticles, lifting her top with obvious shame, exposing what he asked for even though she hates every second of it. Clevitus takes a good look, then suddenly realizes there's no milk. Looks like someone forgot to fill the tanks before the damn show. To clear the confusion, Alicia educates him on a basic fact that a woman needs to have given birth before she can produce any milk. The embarrassment of showing off empty tanks hits her hard, and she begs him to kill her and put her out of her misery. But he ignores her whining while the two argue back and forth over something that clearly isn't helping the baby. The child starts crying again, But instead of dealing with the issue, they keep bickering over how the kid even ended up in his hands in the first place. Fed up with the pointless chatter, Clevitus snaps and demands she figure out how to feed the damn thing. She admits she doesn't know much about raising kids, but says the baby needs a woman who actually has milk. That leaves them with one problem: how the hell are they supposed to find one? She explains they'd need to hire someone, and for that, they need money. Of course, Clevitus is broke, but since the cave they're in is full of arcanosite, they could probably turn some of it into cash. While he thinks about that option, Alicia considers making a move on him, but without a sword, she quickly drops the idea. Clevitus agrees to the plan: find a woman with milk and feed the baby. But just as he's about to head out, Alicia stops him, pointing out the obvious that if he walks into town in his current form, people will panic before he even gets a chance to explain anything. She says she'll take the baby herself and go find someone who can help. But Clevitus refuses the idea right away, not because it's wrong, but because he doesn't want the baby out of his sight. So he transforms into a human boy. The look is close enough, but the nine tails keep wagging behind him like they've got their own plans. He ends up sliding the tails into a shadowy space beneath him, something no one should ever look at. But even then, the horn on his head stays out and he doesn't notice. Before they leave, he gives himself a name Clen and names the baby Luna. Only then does he bother to ask for her name, and she tells him. They head to a nearby river where Alicia starts bathing the child. Clen keeps interrupting, nitpicking every move she makes like an annoying mother-in-law, from how she scrubs to how she dries him, and even where to focus more. Then out of nowhere, the baby pees right on her face, and she holds back a scream while trying to finish the bath. Once she's done, Clen says the poop-eating bugs did a better job. They reach her old camp, but it's empty. Alicia says they stored the valuables somewhere else and leads him there. Clen tells her to go wash up too, says she smells like she's been hiding from soap since the damn dark ages. He tosses her the cloth used to wrap the baby, asking her to clean it. While washing it, she spots a crest stitched into the fabric. It's the royal mark of Heidenian blood. She freezes, realizing the baby is no ordinary kid. Back at the ruins of the castle, a soldier searches through the wreck, shocked by the level of damage left behind. He remembers the crown princess had plans to flee with her child before all this, and now he blames the king's madness for the fall of the kingdom, holding on to a small hope that someone made it out alive. On the other side, General Drell stands with a few of his men, staring down at what's left of the Heidenian kingdom. He tells one of them to go inform the emperor fast, warning that if they don't move in and take the land, another race will. The real reason he wants Heiden is clear: it's the arcanosite secret, something only the Heidenian royals knew how to control. He heads out to gather his forces, leaving his second-in-command Maynard in charge of finding any survivors with royal blood and bringing them straight to him. Elsewhere, Alicia holds up the cloth with the Heidenian crest and confronts Clen, accusing him of stealing a baby tied to the royal family. Clen looks at her, confused and shocked, then says he was given the child by someone who looked exactly like the form he's taken. She doesn't believe a word he says, but he shuts her down and tells her he only killed the king because he was attacked first. Now he expects others will come after the child to unlock the arcanosite power. Clen, clearly pleased by what he's discovered, says he'll raise the child as king and rule everything from the shadows. The way he calls the kid his servant makes Alicia freeze, fear creeping up her back as she starts to wonder if revealing the child's identity was a mistake. Clen tells her they need to find someone with milk fast and feed the baby before it loses its strength. While they move through the forest, Alicia tells herself there's no way the humans would accept someone with a freaking horn sticking out of his forehead, even if he was disguised as one of them. Alicia keeps thinking no one would accept Clen with that horn on his head, but she forgets Orgites have the same feature, which could help him pass, though she still believes humans would figure him out and ruin his plans before they even start. She also starts seeing how deep his obsession with Lunar runs, and something about it shakes her up. If anything were to happen to the kid, she fears it might bring real disaster to humans, so she decides to make it her new duty to protect the child no matter what. While they're walking, a bunch of bandits jumps out and hits Clen straight in the head before Alicia even realizes who they are. He thinks they'll be easy to handle, but right after the first hit, he drops and starts bleeding hard. Alicia screams like a little girl and takes a hit to the back of her head that knocks her out cold. Even with Clevitus's power inside her, she's shocked at how weak she still feels. Later, she wakes up and thinks for a moment she's surrounded by her soldiers heading into battle. But before the dream settles in, Clen's voice cuts through, calling her a fool and telling her to wake up. That's when she snaps back to reality and sees they've been captured by bandits, with Clen smirking like he's not even worried. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, it makes all the difference.